Hi, I'm Dominique Kennedy, and I tell stories about conversations. Welcome to Word Equity Conversation Series. So, I want to tell you about a conversation I was having with myself. I decided that I wanted to start this big project, and upon thinking about deciding how I wanted to go about it, I started to convince myself that I already had too much on my plate, I already had too many projects going on. I'm on this and I'm on that and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And I decided, okay, maybe now is not the time. Maybe I should consider a timeline that would push me into a different quarter of the year. Or maybe I should go about it when I've completed this particular project. I have this thing about my level of discipline. So I'm a very disciplined person, and I like to start something and complete it, and then start something and complete it. I tend to have multiple things going on at one time, but I started getting into this space where I was like, you know what, maybe that's not the most efficient. Maybe that's not working for me at this stage in my life. So I'm having this conversation with myself, deciding, do I start? Do I not? Do I start? Do I not? So I pretty much decided, okay, I'm not going to start it right now. Let me push it out. Let me finish what I started in this particular area. Let me roll out this particular reel of work that I've been kind of archiving. So I had this thought about what to do, what not to do, and I reached out to my business mentor, and he gave me some advice about things to consider and what I should be focused on, and just really reminding me of divinely what I need to be focused on. So I decided, okay, I'm going to start. I'm going to move forward. Now is the time. So then I got into this other conversation with myself, and I started saying, okay, well, this is actually not quite in the realm of the way you would typically do things. And this is in the vein, but in this other space. And I started comparing myself to people who have done it in this way and labeled themselves as such and done it in that way and taken on this self-proclaimed label. And I started to convince myself that this wasn't my space. This wasn't my area to take on. And I started asking myself, like, when did you start doing that? When did you start deciding on something and then discrediting yourself, or deciding on a project and disqualifying yourself? When did you start saying, but I'm not, insert identifier, but I haven't, insert experience or event? And then I said, okay, I'm just going to focus on this thing. I'm going to finish out this particular area and we'll see what happens. So I started feeling this restlessness. Like, you know how you have that feeling where you know you're supposed to be doing something and you've convinced yourself that this is enough or that's enough, or I'm really satisfied. I've done everything I wanted to do at this point, right? I've accomplished this, I've accomplished that. I feel good about this, I feel good about that. These are the list of achievements I'm walking myself through, and thinking, well, maybe you're just trying to, go into this space that some people go into where they're just waiting for the next thing because they're never satisfied, or they're going after this next particular thing because, they're just not content. They're just restless. And I was like, no, that's not it. So I'm, again, having this conversation with myself about what I should be doing and how I should be going about it. And then I went into this conversation with myself about this disqualifying factor. Now I'm in this place where I'm saying, this is the time, this is the space to do it, this is what we're doing. So I finally decided, you know what, let me start mapping out what it needs to look like. And the beautiful thing about mapping things out is because it's this infinite, wide, vast array of opportunities and experiences. And I love to be in that space because it really helps me to hone in on the creative side of me. I used to think, and I've convinced myself in an earlier time, many years ago, that I wasn't creative, but there's all different layers, all different facets, all different shades of creativity. And I decided, okay, I know what my creativity looks like. I know what creativity looks like for me. So I started mapping it out, and I tell you, once I started sitting down to really put pen to paper, create visually what I knew was divinely a part of this project and what I was supposed to be doing, like it literally just unfolded itself. Internally, I felt the shift. I no longer had this internal dialogue where I was discounting or discrediting or disqualifying or convincing myself that it wasn't the time or space. It literally opened up this space internally where I was able to both sit with the idea, be confirmed in what I decided, and move forward with the project. So I'm really excited about what has happened through this internal conversation. And, you know, I'm in a different space when it comes to how I plan to go about this. But again, this conversation with self, those conversations are really important. You have to really monitor, pay attention to, watch, listen for what your inner dialogue is telling you. So I'm really protective about what I surround myself with. I'm protective about what I listen to, especially when I'm embarking on something big. I really try to block out anything that would be an influence outside of what I know was innately in me to do. So, inner dialogue is so important. Self-talk is so important. Those inner conversations and how they are outwardly expressed is really important. So, encouraging you to watch, listen, pay attention to that internal self-talk and allow that to propel you to your next project and next stage.